Hey there folks, how's it going? Mark from Like-Minded Lunatics coming at you with a Monday music matchup, and boy, I'm excited about today's matchup. But before I get to that, let me make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you're watching our content and you've not yet subscribed, let me encourage you to do so. Bottom right hand corner of the screen, hit that button, you'll be good to go. You'll be helping support us on YouTube, and you'll get updates when we post new videos. Additionally, this channel has a lot of different content, not just reaction videos. My buddy Todd Wright does a segment we call Drink, Play, Swear. That's where Todd has an adult beverage, plays an aggravating video game, and tries to tell you a story at the same time. Todd's a professional storyteller, has told stories on stage all over the place, and it's fun watching him try to play a game and drink and tell you a story. You don't have to know anything about video games to enjoy it. Additionally, we've been publishing what we call Like-Minded Lunatics Try. This concept is real simple. That's where we get together, we try something, and we rate it and grade it for you. You can check those out right over here. All right, folks, so today we're going to do something that's really fun. We're going to take a look at Dr. Feelgood from the eponymously titled album Dr. Feelgood that came out in 1989, and we're going to compare it to Dr. Feelgood, the original lyric version. Now, I tried to look some of this stuff up as far as the recording is concerned. Nikki Sixx said in a Rolling Stone interview that he found the lyrics nearing the anniversary of Dr. Feelgood, and they released the song in 2003 on the Crucial Crüe album. That was an album of demos and live versions. But I'm unclear if the recording we're going to hear is from the late 80s or if it's from the 2003 time period. I think it's from the late 80s, but I'm not 100% sure on that. If anybody in the comments knows, please let me know, because I'm curious about that myself. All right, this is probably my favorite Mötley Crüe song, you guys. I love this song. I have a huge Mötley Crüe poster from that time period. It's all ripped to hell that I refuse to get rid of. But this song is so great. It's one of my favorite Mötley Crüe songs. And I know there are Crüe heads out there that are like, yo, anything after Theater of Pain is trash. All right, that's fine, but I love this song. And Metallica loved this song enough that they hired the producer the Crüe used to help them produce the Black Album. So Bob Rock was the producer who helped them kind of craft Dr. Feelgood, and Lars was so impressed with him that Metallica hired him to help them with the Black Album. So let's do this. Let's take a look at Dr. Feelgood from 1989, the original, not original lyrics, the lyrics that were on the original album. Then we'll compare it to the demo version. All right, you guys, so let's go with this one first, the one we're most familiar with, Dr. Feelgood, 1989. Do it, boys. Now, I gotta say, I have always loved this riff. I think it's one of the most recognizable riffs of this time period. And one of the things that I love about it is that it sounds so much more dangerous than a lot of their other work did at the time. It sounds gritty, it sounds rough, and it just sounds dangerous to me, and I love it. Boom, 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 boom. Oh boy, it just gets right in your soul and it just rumbles around in your chest. And reading some interviews, that grittiness was something that Bob Rock was insistent upon. That he knew at the time a lot of the hair bands were coming out with really glitzy, glammy ballads and songs and stuff like that. Poison's the best example. And he really didn't want to do that. And so he crafted it so it sounded a lot more gritty. All right, let's take a listen now to the demo version. Again, I'm unclear on whether or not this recording is, and this comes off the Crucial Crüe album. I'm unclear if this Crucial Crüe recording is an original recording or something the fellows put together for that album. If anybody knows, let me know. Now, if anything, I have to say this one sounds grittier than the original one. The grittiness, the thing I loved so much about the original, or the one, again, the one I'm familiar with, the one, the album, original album version, it's gritty, but not like this. This one sounds hellish to me. You know, Mötley Crüe always dabbled in the occult. This one sounds hellish to me, and I really love mixed guitar on this one, and that crunchy bass line, and Tommy's drums are always fantastic. Boom, 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 boom. Just sounds like he's beating you in the soul. It's great. I love it so far, you guys. All right, let's go back to the one I'm most familiar with. I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys, I've got the lyrics pulled up, but primarily because I don't know the lyrics to the demo version. This is one of them songs that's so fun for me to sing. Rat Tail Jimmy, he's a second-hand hood, deals out Hollywood's, got 65 Chevy with primered flames, traded for the powder goods. Jigsaw Jimmy, he's a running a game, but I hear he's doing okay. Got a cushy little job with the Mexican mob, packaging a candy cane. It's so great. It's one of those just immensely memorable songs. Man, don't look up recent versions of Vince singing this. I've always loved that. In between, so it's, let's see, Rat Tail Jimmy, second-hand hood, deals out of Hollywood, got 65 Chevy with primer, flame, trades for the powdered goods. Boom, boom, boom. That beat that breaks that stanza up, oh, it's great. And then again, boop, boop, boop. From Tommy? Oh, yes, Tommy. Yes, rad. All right, so we've got the first stanza, we got the chorus out of the way. I love this song. I love that it tells a story of a guy who falls from grace. It's kind of a Scarface type story. So good. All right, now the demo version is dramatically different. I don't know the words to this one, so I do have the lyrics pulled up. So let's check it out.
Limousine, living on these streets. Life got reasons to believe you've got switch for me. Working like a dog in a daddy.
Tommy still has that middle break there. Poof, poof, poof. He still did it in this version.
To believe you've got switch for me. Working like a dog in a daddy bank and paid with sweet treats. Long your baby, your candy man. Life I can't be beat.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and say, based off of Vince's voice here, this had to have been recorded in the 80s. I think that it had to be. And I'm not being derogatory towards Vince. I know people dog on him. Look, we've talked about this before. Some of these guys sang so bright that it was only inevitable that their candle would burn out. And in the 80s, look, you guys, you had a bunch of untrained singers trying to sing and out-scream each other. The fact that people's voices fell to pieces was just inevitable. But the voice here sounds like 80s Vince to me. 80s, early 90s Vince. So we've talked about POV on this channel before. We go from first person in the one I'm used to. We go from third person point of view in the one I'm used to first person point of view. And this starts to take on a much different meaning, right? You know, it's the difference between actually seeing the demon and seeing the demon's work, if that makes any sense. The Devil's Advocate comes to mind. That's what I think of when I'm hearing the versions of these two songs. Like in the film, the original version is like just watching Keanu. But then this demo version is like watching Al Pacino in that film. It's very interesting to me. Hang on, let me back that up a little bit, you guys. Sorry, I was talking. I love that stanza break. Boop, boop, boop. Tommy's a badass. Yes, Tommy. Yes. Rad. And I think one of the things that happens with this, and I would love to actually, there's no way this would ever happen, but I would love to actually sit down and talk to Nikki about this, about the difference in the feeling between these two, because listening to this version, obviously, from a writing perspective, you're using this first person point of view. You're able to kind of get inside the protagonist's head. You're able to let the protagonist talk directly to your audience. But that takes away a lot of the mystique of the person. In this other version, it's unclear really who. Well, let's go back and listen to the second in this one. There's a mystery to this one that's just not there in that demo version. There's a mystery about who Dr. Feelgood is. So, and we'll get to this towards the end of the song, but is Dr. Feelgood Jimmy? Is Dr. Feelgood Rat Tail Jimmy, the second-hand hood, dealing out of Hollywood? Or is Dr. Feelgood a background character that's pulling the strings on Jigsaw Jimmy? I've always thought it's the latter. I've always thought that there's a background figure that's Dr. Feelgood. But in this demo version, there is no nuance. There is no ambiguity about who Dr. Feelgood is. It's the protagonist singing to you. So there, we go to first person. I think that's the first time we go to first person in this version I'm familiar with. I've got one thing you'll understand, Dr. Feelgood. So I'm wondering if that was just left over from the original and they didn't change it, or if that's a suggestion that Dr. Feelgood is someone other than Jimmy. Because why is Dr. Feelgood now in the song? I've got one thing you'll understand, Dr. Feelgood. Why is he now in the song? Jimmy doesn't have a voice in the song as far as we know. All right, we're about to get to mix guitar solo here, so I'll leave it there. We'll go back to the demo. So I have a feeling that first person is left over from this version. You know, it looks like they just copy and pasted that, which is fine. But this is one of those places where we've talked about this before. Does the intention of the artist matter when we are interpreting these songs? I am going to go ahead and say no. And in fact, I think the intention of the author can sometimes get in the way of readings of the song. So we could say they just copied and pasted this verse. That's the reason that it's there. Fine, that's an easy answer. But I like to think that first person in the version I'm familiar with gives us more meaning. And we'll talk about that in just a second. But again, just looking at these side by side, you know, the intent of the author is probably just laziness, copy and paste. But the meaning that laziness provides us is greater than the sum of its parts. We didn't get the oh yeah there. Damn it. I love the oh yeah in that part. Oh yeah. Mick Mars, man. I love me some Mick Mars. You know, this time period in rock and roll can be looked down upon a whole lot, but I feel like Mick Mars was a real treasure in that time period. And I know a lot of folks are familiar with him because of The Dirt that appeared on Netflix. But man, for those of us who liked Mick back in the day, Mick was a badass. I loved Mick. He seemed like a dude who would be just as happy stabbing people as playing guitar. Just seemed like an absolute animal, and I loved him for it. Love Mick. Hang on, let me go back. That is so great. I love that line. And I know it's all engineered, Vince. I know that Vince does not do this or cannot do this live, but that he'll tell you he's the king of these barrio streets, moving up to Shangri-La. Oh man, that line, classic. He'll tell you he's the king of these barrio streets, moving up to Shangri-La. Can't buy his business, a matter of love. Says he never broke no law. Two-time blues are running out of juice. Time to move out quick. That rubber don't win. Jimmy's going down this time. It's gonna stick. He's the one that calls Dr. Feelgood. He's the one that makes you feel alright. He's the one that calls Dr. Feelgood. He's gonna be your Frankenstein. Let him soothe your soul. Just take his hand. All right, again, we're back to POV. I don't know if people are tired of me talking about it, but it's one of the things I focus on in writing classes. POV is so important. Here we get let him soothe your soul. We get second person. So we've moved from third person, rat tail Jimmy, to first person, I've got one thing you'll understand, to second person, let him soothe your soul, just take his hand. So we're all over the place with this, but the meaning of it starts to change. Again, who is Dr. Feelgood? It doesn't appear that it's Jimmy in this song, in this version. Some people call him an evil man. Let him introduce himself real good. Dr. Feelgood. He's the only one that can feel good. God, Mick is awesome! I am so sad that people don't call for guitar anymore. You know, I promised myself I wouldn't do this, but the new ACL lineup is garbage. Have you folks looked at it? It's dog shit. It's complete nonsense. No rock bands. But in any case, the rock bands that I see these days, they don't call for guitar anymore. You don't see them calling out for guitar. You don't see that anymore. Why not? Have we gotten tired of the guitar? I have not, and I've not gotten tired of people calling out for it. Get back to doing that, bands. Call things out. Drums! Guitar! Sorry. Rant over. That run that Mick does there, that whoo, just sounds like you're diving into hell, doesn't it? God, Mick is awesome. Back to the demo.
Champagne, cocaine, it's all the same. People know, say me, yeah. We make reject, who cares? I'm Mr. Southfield.
Oh boy, they really struggled to get that rhyme. I can see why Nikki would be like, nah, we gotta rewrite this one. So here's the verse, ladies and gentlemen. Champagne, cocaine, it's all the same. Get my nose in the air. Respect, reject, who cares? The meter's off. It's not a true rhyme. And then we go, okay, so champagne, cocaine, it's all the same. Get my nose in the air. Respect, reject, who cares? I'm Mr. Satisfier. Hot rods, cool cars, limousines. That does not work at all. That's not a... Yeesh. All right, let's go back and listen.
Who cares? All the same pain, cocaine, it's all the same. People know, saying, yeah. We beg, reject, who cares? I'm Mr. Satisfair.
And Vince doesn't even sing. He says, I'm Mr. Satisfair. That doesn't make any damn sense. I can see why Nikki would want to change this. That couplet is fantastic. Working like a dog in a dirty band, getting paid with sleazy treats. That belongs in Wasted Rock Ranger, not in Dr. Feelgood. Oh, that's awesome. This is great. I love a good first draft, and this demo is a good first draft, guys. It's a good first draft that desperately needed to be changed. And they did, and they made a Grammy, or not, did they win a Grammy for this? No, I don't think they did, but it was a #1 album for a long time. I think they're only #1. They rewrote it, and it turned into this. I love it, though. You can feel the bones of it over here. You can feel it. They didn't know what it wanted to be, did they? Huh. Man, I love this. I don't know if you're getting a kick out of it like I am, but I love this. It's so obvious to me now that they didn't know what this song was yet. They didn't know if it was about a Scarface-style drug dealer. They didn't know if it was about some type of in-the-background evil guy. They didn't know if it was about just a skeevy band. All three of those things are present in this version, and it could have gone 3 different ways. It went this way, and I'm thankful that it did, but you can see how they had paths before them. This is fascinating to me. Vince still knew to call for the damn guitar. Vince still knew to do that. See, I'm not going to rant on it again. I already did it. Start calling for guitar. Hang on. I interrupted Mick's badass solo with my ranting. I apologize. Damn, I have to say, I may like that solo better. Guitar players, that was faster, right? That run that Mick did there, that was faster. It felt like to me. Maybe it was just the engineering or the mix on this one, but damn, that one sounded a lot faster, a lot grittier, a lot meaner. There's a lot more malevolence that comes through in this. I gotta say, I'm liking Mick better in this version, in the demo. And there's no ambiguity there. The protagonist is Dr. Feelgood. In fact, his backups are even telling you that. I got one thing you'll understand. He's Dr. Feelgood. I mean, they're telling you immediately. That's who he is. No nuance.
Got one thing he's left understood. Dr. Feelgood. Well, I'm the one they call Dr. Feelgood.
Shit, he even tells you, I'm the one they call Dr. Feelgood. Yeah, good for you, Vince. right, let's finish up with the one I'm familiar with. So this is what I mean about the point of view. So that is Mick. I can't remember the exact line there. He says something about you're the one that's going to go. He talks to Jimmy. It's Dr. Feelgood talking to Jimmy. Let me go back. Right, it's Dr. Feelgood talking there. Now, that's the only time we have Dr. Feelgood talking in this version, and it's Mick using the demon voice. So that's what I mean about there seems to be kind of a Dr. Feelgood in the background of this song. Jimmy's not Dr. Feelgood. Jimmy is a puppet that Dr. Feelgood is playing with, and it takes on a much more malevolent feeling for me. That's another thing. People aren't, they're not doing that anymore. I've never once heard the Imagine Dragon guys go, guitar! I've never once heard that, and that's probably why I don't listen to their music. All right, here comes the second guitar solo, the big one. And we kind of just do the fade out there. You know, I have to say, folks, I'd never done this before, and I'd heard the demo version kind of peripherally. I've never actually sit down and read the lyrics and things like that. This is such a great exercise in drafting. I don't want to get all teachery and nerdy on you, but this is a great example of what happens when you have a good rough draft, and it's clearly a rough draft, and you spend some time with it, and you make it into something really special. And I don't know if that's to Bob Rock's credit, you know, the producer on this album, or Nicky's. Nicky is, you know, I read interviews with him in Rolling Stone. I think that they write a little bit about it in The Dirt. Nicky talks about wanting to make sure that this album was absolutely perfect. You know, this is after he had almost died. Kickstart My Heart is about him dying. Well, actually, he did die, flatlined on the sidewalk, I think on the Sunset Strip. And he talked about how he, you know, in rehab, they taught him you need to release yourself to a higher power to help you get over this addiction. And he didn't really believe in a higher power. So he released himself to music, and he talks about really just being hyper-focused and obsessed with Dr. Feelgood this whole album. So I don't know if this is a credit to Bob Rock as a producer, Nikki Sixx as someone who was hyper-focused on this album when they were doing it, but whatever it was, man, this is a great example of what happens when you have a good first draft, but you spend some time with it. You spend some time polishing it, playing with the words, and just some small changes. They're big changes, obviously, but some of the smaller changes I think are just as important as the bigger ones in this. I clearly prefer the album version. I'd like to hear what you think. I clearly prefer the original album version, but I do like Mick's work better, I think, in this demo version. I think it's grittier, it's faster, sounds more malevolent. It's not mixed as heavily with the other instruments, and so it feels more present. I really like that. But let me know in the comments what you think. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. This is one that I'd wanted to do for a while, and I'm glad that I was able to get to it. Let me know in the comments what you think. Remember, you can be critical without being mean, and if you're mean, I'm just going to throw your comments away. Please make sure to give me some comments, give me a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, folks, and take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon. Guitar!